Hello and welcome to Stellaris. I'm going to show you the game from the very beginning. So I've just hit new game, and this is where I am brought. Random is random. I can create my own empire. I can pick an empire I've previously created, or I can go down the list of all of the different random empires that the developer has made. We're going to create a new one, just so that you guys can see what it's like. So this is where we start. We're going to go to appearance. We have a ton of options. So, humanoid, we've got a couple of each. Reminds me of a Vulcan. Reminds me sort of a Klingon / Cardassian mix. It's kind of strange. I look at this and I see Cardassian first, then the brow ridges make me think Klingon. But, you know, whatever. I see them and I think vampires. Yeah. Then you've got mammalians. All sorts of options. Really, that guy has wings? Fun. Interesting. Reptilian. That guy's cute. Avian. Looks like penguins. He's got 3 beaks? Interesting. Arthropods. Musceloids. That guy's creepy. Fungoids. Alright, let's see, where do we go? Let's, do we have any fun avians? Anyone that we like? Maybe that guy? Nah. You know, I kind of want somebody who looks like a dragon. Let's see if they got a reptile that looks like it could be a dragon. I mean, sure, not gonna have wings, but... I kinda like that guy. I think that guy will do. Alright. So now we choose a name. I am terrible at naming. So, random. Okay, click this a couple dozen times, and... Stakashi. Sure. We are the Stakashi. Let's see, we went with... Reptilian, we'll do 3, maybe 2... Yep, we'll go with 3. Now, to be clear, I did just look at a couple of random points in here, and then hit next. Okay, so racial traits. The way that the racial traits work, you have a maximum of 5 traits to pick, with a total points available of 2 at the beginning. So, I can immediately choose agrarian, which means that my people produce more food, which means that my planets will be more productive, and it will be easier for me to grow my population. But you'll see, oops, I'm at 0 points left before picks left, which means I can roll down, and this non-adaptive gives me 2 more points. So now I've got 3 picks and 2 points. But let's see what we've got. Thrifty gives me 15% energy credits. Energy credits are your money in this game. They're used for a lot of different things. There are really only 2 primary resources, and I have lost track of secondary resources. The primary resources are minerals and energy. Energy is your money, minerals is your actual building unit. And then you have secondary resources, and the secondary resources tend not to be necessary for your average building efforts. There are some, like, Bertharium, something like that, which is used to fuel a generator, which provides energy, which gives you energy credits. And then there's dark matter, which can do the same thing and can be used to run research. And then there's living metal, which lets your ships regenerate. But those are the only three that I can think of off the top of my head. There are a lot of others that run things that you can build in your empire that will have impacts, but they aren't necessary, and neither are the three I listed. There are only two resources that you have to have: energy credits and minerals. Thrifty gives me more of energy credits. Industrious gives me more minerals. So what I could do is grab these two and have a better economy. Intelligent gives me all of my outputs for research. Now there are 3 research fields, which you can see here: engineering, physics, and society. Each of those has a different flavor, a different feel to it, and provides you with different things. Natural engineering, natural physics, and natural sociologist are specific to each of the science fields. Extremely adaptive is habitability, that is your ability to colonize other worlds. Extremely adaptive is really nice, but because it costs 4, it's really hard to get. Adaptive is half, costs half. Non-adaptive is minus to habitability. Rapid breeders is faster growth. Slow breeders is slower growth. Talented is leadership skills. Your leaders, you can hire leaders for 4 different areas: governors, scientists, generals, and admirals. Yes. Scientists are needed to actually do science and to explore the galaxy and do research on worlds. You don't need the other 3. You can actually get by without them. I've played entire games where I've only ever had scientists. The others do add benefits to your fleets, your ground troops, and your colonies, though, so it's really good if you have enough leadership potential to put people in the right places. And getting enough people can actually lead to some interesting challenges when it comes to the research you do. But that's for the future. What we're looking at right now is this talented, which gives you 1 extra leader skill level, and that can have a decided impact on how quickly you do things and how quickly your leaders develop and what bonuses they get. Then there's quick learners, which means that they gain experience faster. Slow learners, they gain experience slower. Those affect how quickly they get these skill levels. Very strong, army damage is 40%, minerals 10%. Strong, half of that. Weak, penalty. Nomadic, migration speed is faster and it costs less to resettle. Sedentary, migration speed is higher, costs more to resettle. You know what? I'm going to grab sedentary because I don't care about that. Charismatic, other people like you. Repugnant, other people like you less. Deviance causes ethics divergence. Ethics divergence can be very bad because it can break down the core of your society. And that can hurt. Fleeting means that your people die faster. Enduring and venerable, they live longer. Resilient, they are harder to kill. So that's it. Those are my choices. I currently have 3 points. I'm going to grab Repugnant, which will give me 4. Communal is a base +5 happiness. I like that. Conformist gets rid of ethics divergence. I like that. So I have 1 point and 1 choice left. I'm going to go with... Ooh, I'd really like adaptive. But if I go with adaptive, then I either have to drop conformist or choose a -2, which would be non-adaptive. But I'm sitting here saying I'd like adaptive. Slow breeders is a -1, weak, fleeting, decadent. I really wish they'd give me more negatives. It's hard to get the really good positives, and you really have to give up a lot for them. So conformist, the ethics divergence is nice. The happiness actually matters more. I can manage the ethics divergence using tech and some of the buildings. So I'm going to drop that. I'm going to get adaptive, which will actually have a similar effect. And then I'm going to do rapid breeders. Now, no mineral bonus. It's an idea. There are no other -2s. Non-adaptive is the only -2. So I can't do what I was thinking. Okay. So, back to repugnant. Back to sedentary. We will grab communal. And we're going to do rapid breeders. Okay. We'll stick with that. This is the name for my starting warlord. Alright, total limit is president, air title. Well, see, this is interesting because it's giving me this, and we haven't even gotten to our government yet. We're going to go with leader, and then the air title, if there is one. Okay. All right, so yep, that'll work. All right, so what I'm choosing here, the homeworld names don't matter. You can choose a couple of different options for starting solar system, and there are mods that will give you more. I'm just going to stick with random. There are 3 groups of planets, and the planet type that you choose inside of that group determines what you will start on, and I think it may affect the choices otherwise. It may affect your habitability on other worlds. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really looked into it. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to just start on a continental world. We're reptilian, we're just going to choose a reptilian city. This is all about looks, doesn't really matter to me. Okay, government empire. Or ethics, government and ethics. So, you have 3 points to choose ethics from. The inner ring is 1 point, the outer ring is 2 points, and those will determine which governments you can get. So, I'm going to be me. I'm a militarist. I am... I'm going to go with collectivist. And if I do materialist, I can get more research. And you'll see where that determines the different governments I can have. Now, this is going to lead me down the line for AI, which means robots, cyborgs, etc. If I do spiritualist, that leads me down the line of psionics, and I have more frequently gotten genosoldiers, which means selective breeding programs, etc. But, you know, I'm going to stick with this for now. And less ship upkeep, less ship cost. More research speed. And I can build an elite assault army. research alternatives and leader capacity. Colony influence, planet border extrusion. That one's actually kind of fun. Military station, though, not so great. Energy credits, minerals, and less mining station. Now see, this one could be beneficial. So this last line, you don't have elections. The middle line, you have elections every 40 to 50 years. And the first line, you have elections every 10 years. And that is straight up and down. I could look through here and see which one I want and take it. Now this moral democracy, with that core sector systems, that's really appealing to me because the number of systems you have in your core, the more systems you have in the core, the more you have direct control over. So this peaceful bureaucracy, actually kind of fun, but I would have to take pacifist instead of militarist. Now I could do that. This gives me more weapons damage, more rival influence, and more war happiness. Whereas this just gives me a negative on rival influence, +5 happiness for peace, and a -5 happiness for war. But that doesn't mean that I can't. You know what? Let's do this. So, I am technically a pacifist. No, because if I do that, I can't. Okay. So this is going to change some of the other things that I can do. If I do this, I really should get rid of collectivist and go with xenophile. To really make it work. Because xenophile means that I have a better chance with aliens, and I will have fewer problems if I integrate them into my empire. But this is playing the game in a way that is very different for me. And that's just so that I can get this 5 extra core systems. Alright, we're going to do it. Okay. So that's our government. We are a peaceful bureaucracy, which a part of me hates. I'm actually kind of crying right now. No, I'm not. I'm not actually crying. That has nothing to do with anything. So, we are a peaceful bureaucracy. Oy vey. Peaceful bureaucracy. Right now I'm just looking at flags. That'll work. Starting weapons. This is how you travel around the galaxy. Hyperspace means that you actually have lines connecting star systems, and you have to follow those. Warp travel, you go wherever the hell you want, whenever you want. There's just a range that you have to travel on. Wormholes, you actually have to have stations to extend the range at which you can travel. This is the fastest to get from point A to point B, but it is the most restricted because you can only travel inside of that bubble that is created by your wormhole stations. Warp is the least restrictive because you can go anywhere you want, but it is slower than the others. Hyperspace travel is very fast, but because you are following these lines, it really does limit you. I'm going to stick with warp just for simplicity's sake. Now, I don't like the mammalian ships. I don't like the reptilian ships. I don't like the fungoid ships. The arthropods are actually kind of my favorite. But I'm going to go with avian. Now, I need a name. Wait, what was my race? We are the Stakashi. Did I get that right? Yes, it did. We will call ourselves the Stakashi Plutocracy. Adjective. We're just going to go with our name. I don't know why. I really don't understand some of that. But that's okay. So, we're done creating our race. Now we're actually into the game details. And yes, all I did, I saved the race, then I hit done. So, galaxy size. Number of stars. Pretty straightforward. Couple of options. We go with medium. Shape. Elliptical means that there's a very small spot in the middle that you can't colonize because there's no worlds. Spiral arms. You will have a middle, a sliver of territory around the middle, I think, or a small middle, and then two arms spinning out from there, and they will corkscrew around. Same basic thing with the spiral forearms. Ring is that large dead spot in the middle. Ring is really bad for multiplayer because you can cut each other off, whereas elliptical gives you a lot of openings. Ring is not so bad for single player because it makes it easier for you to control what you're doing. Yeah, I'm going to go with ring just for the heck of it. AI empires. These are the number of opponents I'm going to have. I'm going to drop this down. Yes, 5. Advanced starts, I don't want any of them to be advanced. Fallen empires, I'm going to leave that at 2. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to make them more aggressive. Yes, I'm a pacifist, and I'm making them more aggressive. Pfft, who cares? Random placement, advanced neighbors, in-game crisis on. Alright, we're ready to go. The in-game crisis, there's 5 or 6 different ones. And they can be pretty brutal. So, here we are. Let's take a quick look at the galaxy. So as you can see, large dead zone in the middle with a band of worlds stretched around. Very, very straightforward. As you can see, this is the sensor ring, and my controlled territory is that bluish color. I have 3 notices up here for the research that I haven't done. We'll start with research. So you have to have scientists, and each scientist has something special that they do. He's got an extended lifespan, but let's... oh, perfect. Okay. So, this is 10% research speed, this is 5% research speed. That's wonderful for starting off. I'm going to start off with solar panel network, not because I want it, but because it's faster, and I won't know what my next options are until I finish. Oh, okay, so monthly influence is your 3rd resource, but it's not a resource. It's not something produced necessarily by the planets. It's a vague thing, but your influence is your ability to modify the galaxy. Influence will be spent to suppress resistance, it will be used to set up colonies, it will be used for diplomatic purposes, it will be used to... oh, I can't remember the other things that I use influence for, but it has a lot of uses. So I'm going to grab that. And yes, I could have gone with the colony ship or the military academy. Both are very good options, but this may not be around may not come back again for a while, and that +1 influence is very important, and the colony ship is more likely to come back. Alright. The ion thrusters would let me improve my ships, but the mining network gives me straight up more resources. So, I said to improve my ships, so let's go over here, and here's our ship designer. And once I pull in here, I can right mouse button and spin around and look at my ship. I can choose different sections if they exist. I will get those as I develop. If I find the research for torpedoes and I do that, I will actually get a torpedo section, which will be 1 small weapon slot and a torpedo. And then we'll look at the utility. So, currently I only have red lasers, so it's red lasers. This is my jump drive, my warp drive. Combat computers chemical thrusters, and radar. All of these are the same for everyone, except for this. This will be race-specific based on the warp, the hyperdrive, or the wormhole. These are the same for everyone starting out, and you can do research to get those. This list shows you components. The A's are specialty items, medium, small, small. And if you look here, it tells you what the difference is. A medium produces 20 power, whereas a small produces 10. I can't build anything else right now, so I'm not even really going to worry about that. But I could, with that extra engine, modify the ship and go faster. The expansion planner will let you figure out what you want to do, where you want to colonize, what you think is best. I'll have to look at those in a minute. Species will show you all of the species in the game, and if you have gene points available, you can modify your species and you can change the traits. Policies and edicts. So this is your country, this is your government. The edicts apply different things. So like the engineering research gives me plus 30 to engineering and minus 10 to everything else. Society and physics do the same. Encouraged free thought causes ethical divergence, but gives me research speed. Now, I'm going to grab this, and I know, I said earlier, ethical divergence is a problem, but right now I'm only on my home planet, and on your home planet, ethical divergence doesn't really happen. At least not easily. Then, if I'm having problems with ethical divergence, I can do information quarantine, slow down my research, and drop ethical divergence. So, those two can be used. Now, up here, I have all of these different things. Civilian trade is not in the base game. That is a mod I have enabled. And that mod will create civilian trade ships once I have another planet. And those civilian traders will generate some extra resources for me. It adds another layer of complexity to the game, and it makes the entire galaxy look more alive because you have random ships traveling to point A and point B doing trade, which makes sense. So first contact protocol. Peaceful or aggressive? Well, my people are pacifists, so peaceful. Leadership. Primary species only. Once I've done research and found other species, I can actually change that, but right now I don't have a choice. Voting rights, same thing. Resettlement, so I can allow resettlement, which is forced movement of my people, but if you see here, my 8 pop will get a minus 5% happiness from that. Migration, free migration, if I change that, my people will be unhappy, unless I do no migration. Weird. Orbital bombardment. Now, I can't do full because I'm not militarist. Purge. I can't do full because I'm not collectivist. I can, or be, yeah. Now, here's the thing. I've played before, or no, I have to be collectivist to have Purge. I think I've done that before where I didn't have Purge, or wasn't collectivist. Slavery. I don't allow it. I don't. War philosophy. I have liberation wars, defensive wars. I could do unrestricted, but that makes my people unhappy. And eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go unrestricted. I'm just going to deal with the unhappiness. But that's later. And hopefully what I'll be able to do is find other things that I can enable to make my people happy. But we'll deal with that. Now, if you see here, the name of my world is grayed out like all of these others. What that means is that I haven't surveyed it. So I'm going to select my science ship, and I'm going to right-click on the start and survey system. And it will automatically go out and survey. Because I need to survey a lot of planets so that I can get colonies, I'm going to build another science ship. But I'm not going to build a third because I need influence to recruit a leader to put in the science ship, and I've only got 50 influence. Actually, I think yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even finish this. Strategic resources, I have none, but this will show me all of them. Factions, I have none. That will become important later. Leaders. I do have an available scientist, so I could actually recruit that third ship. Now, if you look, I was telling you about the limit. I only have 10 leaders. So if I have a lot of colonies with governors, and I have a lot of fleets, or I have a lot of ground troops, I can very quickly run out of leaders for them all. Planets and sectors, I only have the one planet, and I'm not putting it into a sector. I'll explain sectors later. Yep, and you can see I can have 10 worlds in my core, and then after that I have to do sectors. Research, situation log, which doesn't matter right now. Contacts, I don't have any foreign contacts. And this is my government and other statistics. Okay, so I've got my science guy out exploring. I'm going to build a second science ship. I could build troops, but I have no purpose. This is the surface of the world. Minerals, science, food, energy. These tiles I can't build on yet. So if I drag this guy up here, that tile becomes active, and I could build something on it, but currently I have nobody producing food here. So I'm going to put him back. I'm going to do the summary. I have +3 food, which means that it's going to continue to grow. Decent amount of each resource. 100% habitable. My people are happy. And that's because of the governor. So, we're just going to start up. And we're going to add a little bit of speed. Now, up here. Okay, so we've got a fleet with a strength of 516 and a station with a strength of 20. My experience tells me that those are mining drones, so they aren't going to attack me unless I get close. One more thing. This says that there's potentially habitable worlds. So there's a continental world and a tropical world, both of which I can colonize. So I've got 2 possible colonies right there. So I could very quickly advance. Our other science ship came up. We'll assign it a leader. And let's send it over here to survey. And we'll speed it up again. And as you can see,
construction complete.
Core math was about to finish. We will recruit a new leader. Expertise statecraft, expertise military theater, expertise or theory. Okay, so the Lorad Drexum has made a startling find on Brelix 2A. The moon is teeming with alien life. For the first time in history, we have encountered life forms that did not originate on Cormath. This amazing discovery has silenced those who believed we were alone in the universe. Although none of the alien creatures found on Brelix 2A are sentient, it is only a matter of time before we encounter beings that are. We may not be alone out there. We're just going to recruit that guy. Primarily because I don't find military theory all that important. Okay. And then we'll go out here and we'll survey another system. We have recovered artifacts from an ancient alien civilization on Gefarak. Okay. If what we have learned from these artifacts is correct, this civilization is some sort of confederation that consisted of many different alien races that called themselves the First League and appear to have coexisted in relative peace some 2 million years ago. Though the Cormassa system lies in the region of space that seems to have made up the core of their territory, the partial map found among the artifacts indicates that this First League may have covered a significant portion of our galaxy before its eventual collapse. Interesting, and that's going to give me my first mission.
Updated.
And that gives me a precursor. So what's going to happen... is I'm going to get a bunch of artifacts that I have to find, and that may lead me to something, it may not. Weeks after the ISS Lorad Clonol's latest fruitful exploratory survey, Stokachian xenologists are practically falling over themselves to publish their takes on the findings of Gefarak. This fevered storm in the scientific community has had some negative yet temporary impact on the results of other seed fields. Well, that's so bad. Alright, but that is where we're going to call it today. We've got another ship heading out to explore. We're looking here, we're looking here. We're getting ready for what's next. So, we'll continue next time. I'm going to I don't know how far I'm going to play through this. Really, it's just to give you guys an idea of how the game works and what we're doing. But if I really get into it and you guys are really enjoying it, I'll keep going. And I think I'm going to continue the trend that I'm trying to set up of involving my viewers. So, if you guys want your names on ships or planets, let me know. I'll be happy to rename them. Once I colonize them, I can go in and I can select them and I can give them a new name. Heck, I can rename that without colonizing. So, yeah. So I can rename this system right now. So, let me know. And until next time, happy gaming.